Living Local presents Biz Buzz 413 with your host, Jill Munson.
Before we get started with today's pilot episode of Biz Buzz 413, a couple quick thank you shout outs. Tiger Web Designs. Thanks for making us look awesome on the World Wide Web. Thank you as well to Chick Media for all of your public relations expertise. A thank you to my company, Pop More, confidence coaching and training done differently. And of course, a huge thank you to livinglocal413.org. On today's episode, we're going to talk with one expert from each of the four counties that make up the 413. We'll chat about economic development and what's going on Main Street in their communities. Check it out. Please help me welcome the Vice President and Chief of Staff at the Western Massachusetts Economic Development Council, also known as the EDC. I call her Zio Delabato because I cannot pronounce your name with the perfection that it deserves. So would you do that?
Thanks, Jill. Thanks for having me back. Excited to be here. So I'm Xiomara Elban Delabato for all of the listeners who are tuning in today. Thanks for having me.
You have the amazing tongue like you do. I'm always so jealous because I say I try, but it comes out so flat. So thank you for assisting us with the beauty of your tongue this morning. But we want to jump in. Each of the counties we're talking to today, all four of the Western Mass 413 counties, we're going to ask the same questions too. So the first question is really, tell me a little bit about your role and about the Western Mass EDC.
Yeah, great. So I'll start with who the EDC is and what we do. So we are the region's economic development leader that drives economic strategy for the entire Western Mass region, specifically serving Hampden, Hampshire, Franklin County, the three Stacks counties. We do a lot of work with the Berkshires and work closely with one Berkshire on any of their initiatives and strategies for that specific county. I mean, we're all interwoven and our economies are very much interconnected. So that is definitely a partnership that is a must-have. We're comprised of some of the largest business enterprises in the region. So these are the CEOs, presidents that have major procurement investment in the region. They bring a ton of jobs, services, goods, et cetera. So they are part of the EDC in addition to some of our municipal leaders, our legislative leaders as well. And what we essentially do is drive their business initiatives that impact our local day-to-day economy. And we take deliberate effort in making sure that we're connecting this macro economic impact and really bring it to that micro aspect of the day-to-day of the regular consumer, the resident who's here, the worker, who's engaged in any of these or with any of these companies and organizations in the region. So there's a lot of advocacy that happens under my role, and really working closely with our business leaders, understanding what some of their needs are, and then putting that into strategic initiatives on what the future, on what the future really looks for the region.
So it's great because I'm very much a supporter of all things economic development. And sometimes there's this misnomer between big business and little business. And so what I wanted to ask you today is a little bit about what you see specifically in Hampden County, because although you do represent a wider geographic area, we're going to talk with leaders throughout the whole valley and beyond. So what do you see going on, Main Street USA today in Hampden County?
So I think something that's important to note before we jump into this is that infrastructurally, right, Main Street USA has and was designed, right, to prosper and thrive with the reliance of cars, like car activity, right? Mm-hmm. They're designed in that way, right, to bring in traffic with the expectation of having that level of physical traffic bring dollars, right? We want some people to spend and consume. So with that, just a snippet of a preface and context, one of the things that really impacted Main Street USA everywhere, and especially Hampden County, right? It's something that's happening here. It's a much more micro level than what's going on across the country. The pandemic shed some major light on the impacts of not having constant flow of activity on our main streets, right? They're designed to have businesses that are street facing, that are enticing, that are engaging, they're exciting. They want you, the consumer, to enter and spend your local dollars there. So the pandemic definitely shifted the consumer behavior. And it is something that many Main Street, especially large municipalities, large cities, are still recovering from. And in Hampden County specifically, and I'll even get, we'll dive deeper into Springfield and Holyoke, our two largest cities in the county. There are some, various initiatives that are underway at the moment to try to revitalize that. So it has required just next level innovation, next level attention, and very intentional effort to bring back businesses onto these Main Street shops that had to close during the pandemic. So for example, the Springfield Business Improvement District, the Springfield BID, they received an urban agenda grant. So it's a state grant that allowed them to create and develop this Main Street program that provides these businesses both financial incentive, different financial coaching, and all business related resources that will help them position themselves back onto a Main Street shop. So initiatives like that are happening, which I think are wonderful. We need to take advantage of the bids that are doing some really great work across the state. And that's what's happening in Springfield.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I think you definitely already alluded to some of the challenges, which is just bringing back the business and the foot traffic and literally the bodies to downtown. And I think, if you're in any of the downtowns, if you're in downtown Holyoke, there are some phenomenal things to do, some great restaurants. I enjoy taking a walk, going over to Fame and maybe even over to the Children's Museum for a looky-loo. I'm never too old to play. So Zio, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned, everyone, because next we're going up 91 to Hampshire County.
Biz Buzz 413 was brought to you by Living Local.